Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners, boy, do we have a bonus part of this unbelievable podcast. In a minute, we'll be speaking to Woody, the subject of Ungrateful Bastard from prison. So he'll be on in a minute. It's unbelievable from, I think, Auburn prison. Maybe not. It could be any prison.
Oh, we don't know what prison he's
I'm
in.
not sure where he is. They keep moving him around.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, he's been in many, I think.
Oh.
We'll find out if he calls.
A few moments later.
Woody, what place are you at right now?
I'm in Shawangunk Correctional Facility.
Shawangunk Correctional.
Where's that?
Way downstate, like
Huh?
90 miles from New York City. It's in Ulster County, Wallkill, New York.
Oh, okay.
I have to ask you a question. Well, actually, I have to ask you a lot of goddamn questions. But when you were in Attica, did you know my buddy Tom Torpy?
I did. Yes, I actually did. I believe he's been home for quite some time now.
Yeah,
Well, he's died.
unfortunately, he passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, we
I
had
knew him for many years.
we
He
had
was an
some
honor
fun.
block.
We
yeah.
had some
He's
fun.
a good guy. I knew him.
Anyway, Wood, did you read the book?
I have not. I've actually not read the book. No.
Are you planning to?
Yes. I have not received a copy yet. It's on its way, and it is questionable that they'll let me have it. If they let me have it, then I will obviously read it. I hope to read it. Put it like that.
Can you tell me why in the world would they not let you read a book about you?
I mean, it's Department of Corrections. I mean, nothing Department of Corrections does makes any sense whatsoever. I mean, it is just a dysfunctional fucking agency. I mean, there is no corrections in the Department of Corrections. It is just a fucking dysfunctional entity. I mean, if you could spend tax dollars on anything but this stupid shit. So, who knows what they do?
Oh my God.
That a lot of that is in the book. So let me let you know what's in the book. The question, first of all, God, can I tell you what I learned from the book? Because it might make you mad.
No, I mean, go ahead. I really, not that type of person. I mean, I just really don't get mad like that.
I just gotta-
you read the book. I mean,
I got to
Go
tell
ahead.
you, Woody, he loved the book. Every time as he was reading it, when he would stop for the night, he couldn't wait to keep going the next day to read more. He was enamored by the story, by you, everything. He loved it.
So Wood,
well, I mean,
go ahead.
no, I mean, when I talked to Sue about it, and Sue's a wonderful lady, and I did not know her prior to this, but she said she'd give me a fair shot, and she wasn't going to be my cheerleader. She wasn't going to write my story. She was going to write the story as she could verify it. And, she was a great person. And, I mean, I really like Sue. And we have a, professional relationship. And I have respect for her. And she respects me. And, apparently she's done a wonderful job with the book. So, I can't ask for anything more than that. I mean, she was fair. She was honest. She verified everything. And I understand that, a lot of the things that I told her, she just didn't believe me, and I knew that. And my attitude from day one was, if I tell you the truth, I'm going to sound like a lunatic. You just would not believe the shit that goes on in prison. And, I'm reluctant to tell you the truth because I'm going to sound like a madman. And that's what happened. But luckily, she was able to verify a lot of, everything. And, here we are today. So, yeah, I mean, some of it probably comes across as like, what the hell? And, unfortunately, in some cases, yes, it's all true. But, it is a lot of it is hard to believe. I understand that.
Are you worried about anything that you told her about stuff that goes on in prison to come back and be harmful to you in any way or not?
He ran the joint. Woody ran the. No one's fucking with Woody. Believe me.
No, I'm fine.
He
So,
goes, I'm fine.
no, I mean, if you have, I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, you have questions. I mean, you give me a question. I'll give you a straight answer. You know.
Well, here you go. When you talk about stuff in the book that's unbelievable, let me go to drinking out of the toilet, for instance. Is that had a
Yeah.
that
That is true.
that's because what prison were you in at that time?
Attica.
And the water went out.
No, they used to shut it off. That was a common practice at Attica. If Tommy was still alive, he could verify that. When you got to Attica, it didn't matter, you know, what color you were, if you were white, black, or Hispanic. I mean, they treat everybody like shit as soon as you get there. And they used to take your ID card for 4 days, sometimes 7 days, and they would tell you, just don't come out of your cell. And that means you're not taking a shower, you're not eating, you're not doing anything. And a lot of times, yes, they would shut your power off, they would shut your water off. So you're just in a cell with no power, no water, no nothing. And, you know, I'm fresh to, you know, Attica, and it's like, I don't know what to do. And everybody told me, you know, make sure you fill up all your bottles and everything. It's like, I just got here, I don't have any bottles. And, you know, I have no water, I have no power, I have no nothing. And it's like, you know, what do you do? So, I mean, desperate measures, desperate times. Well, let me drink out of the toilet. I'll piss in the sink and I'll drink out of the toilet. I'll get through this.
There it
And
is.
that's what I did.
That shows resiliency. I'll tell
No,
you.
there it is, because you can see, even you and I, Bubby, can see the toilet water is clean, but he peed in the sink
Smart.
to keep the water clean so he could have something to drink, right?
Yeah. Well, like in 99 or 2000, Attica actually ran out of water for like 2 weeks. Broken water main, we had nothing. So they issued everybody a gallon of water a day from Seneca Water Company, whatever it was. You got 1 gallon of water every day. They come to everybody's cell. They give you 1 gallon of water, and they give you 1 plastic garbage bag. So there's no showers. The toilets don't flush. Your sink doesn't work. There's nothing. There's just no water in the jail. It's bone dry. So, and it's, you know, like summer of 99, I believe, or 2000, and, you know, it's July, August, hot, humid, and you have 1 gallon of water that has to last you 24 hours, and you can't flush your toilet. So they gave everybody 1 garbage bag, and you have 2 options. One, you can either piss and shit in the toilet and cover it with your garbage bag, or you can just piss and shit in the garbage bag and just tie it off every day. Those are your options. And that went on for 2 weeks. So no toilets flush, nobody has a shower, and, you know, this is just life. And, you know, I mean, the fruit flies, I mean, you just wouldn't believe it.
What
And,
option did you
these
pick?
days,
It's in, no, I'll tell you.
I know which
it's
one I would pick.
It's in the book. He pooped in a bag.
That was smart. Because then if the bag, you could eventually say, here, take this bag, I need a new bag. But if you put it in the toilet,
well, that was just life, you know. And I mean, you know, prison has obviously drastically changed in 30 years. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen 30 years have changed. I mean, these kids today, you know, if they shut the water off to change a pipe for 6 hours, they're all crying, oh, there's no water. And it's like, if you'd have been around, you know, 25 years ago and you had to, you know, you shit in a fucking garbage bag for 2 weeks, what would you have done then? You know, they just don't understand hard times these days. You know, prison is soft now compared to what it used to be.
Wood, let me get to the part that I think was good for you, if there's such a thing. First of all, it's funny that people that aren't in jail always hear that if you go to the joint for a long time, that you will have gay sex. But that's not in the book anywhere. But you got you got women. And it's amazing. In the book, you got many women. Is it true?
I mean, not as much as I'd like. Not as much as, I mean, one is enough is enough. But, you know, I mean, I'm not gay, and luckily, I've never had a gay experience, nor do I want one. But yeah, I mean, 3 women in 30 years. mean, it's better than 0. I mean, 4
You're
would be
not
better
kidding.
than 3, but, you know, 3 for 30 years, I wouldn't call it a lot. I mean, it's better than nothing, but, yeah, I did all right
And in
at one point.
in the prisons you're in, there's no such thing as a conjugal visit, right? Or do some people get them?
You have to be married.
Oh,
But you have a
If
girlfriend. You have a girlfriend,
I
right?
Yes, I do. Wonderful lady. Changed my outlook on everything. Actually has kept me out of trouble for the most part for about 7 years since I've really gotten in any trouble, major trouble. And no, a wonderful lady comes and visits me, and you know, she's responsible for introducing me to Sue, another wonderful lady. But yes, I mean, she is responsible for the book. She's responsible for my getting back to court. I mean, she is single-handedly responsible for everything. I mean, I'd be lost without her. I owe everything to I can't give you your name, obviously, but she's I'd be lost without her. I mean, she is my everything.
wow.
I owe her everything.
Can't
There's
you,
just no getting around it.
Woody? Can't you get married?
I can, but because of my security status, I just my security status is off the chart. So most jails I can't even get a conjugal visit, even if I was married, because I'm such an escape risk.
Oh,
So all max prisons have conjugal visits except 5 points. They don't have them. But again, you got to be married. But there are, it's not that simple. You're just married now. You can get a conjugal visit. If you're deemed like a serious threat to security, escape risk, as I am, no, they're not letting you out there.
How many?
Like
How
I'm
many?
at CSU here, like Shawangunk Correctional has what they call New York State CSU unit, which is a close supervision unit. All the who of the who's who resides in CSU, all your gang leaders, your gang heads, escape risks, anyone that requires extreme close supervision, that's where I'm at. So, just conjugal visits are not an option for me, and I just, never had one. I made my own,
I got Woody. My favorite quote from the book is about, if they call it abuse, if prisoners have sex with guards,
right.
they're abused.
Yeah.
And Woody's
Yeah.
my favorite quote. Woody said, "Sexual abuse. If her sitting on my face is abuse, then I'm a victim."
Absolutely.
Awesome. That was no kidding.
I love being a victim, exactly. And I mean, I got to tell you though that like when I first came to prison, and I went to Elmira, and I've never been in a prison before. I mean, I just got used to county jail, and then they sent me to Elmira, and this is all new to me. And like in the book, that's my oh shit moment. And they called me one day and they said, you're wanted in correspondence. I didn't even know what that was. It's like, what is correspondence? You're like, just go down the mailroom. There. So I go down. I'm looking like this long corridor. I'm looking at the signs, like where is correspondence? And I find it. So I look, and there's like 3 ladies in there. And I knock on the door, and a lady comes out. She was like really hot. I was 19. She's probably late 40s, 50, and really, really attractive. And she comes out and she's like, "Oh, Woody, I'm so glad to meet you. I followed the case, and me and my boyfriend watched you get sentenced. I feel so sorry for you. You want to work down here?" And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, "Yes, you do. You just hang out with me all day. I'll take care of you. You can use the gym, use the shower, use the phone. Just say yes." So I was like, "Okay." And she took care of everything. And she said, "You follow me around all day," and told me my duties. So I was like, "Cool." So I didn't really think it had really potential to go anywhere. It was just she was a nice lady. She felt sorry for me and she followed the case. So the next day they called me and they had these big like blue postal boxes, like you got the overnight mail like in front of the post office.
Yeah.
The big blue iron ones. That's what they got in Elmira, all down the main corridor. Everybody dumps their mail in it. So in the morning, she would unlock them, and I had a big box, and I crawl inside, I scoop all the mail out, and I go from the school building to the box to everywhere, and, you got a whole bundle of mail. And, she's just there to open the locks, and I do everything else. So I follow her around, like she said. So on the way back, she says, I have to pee. So I was like, okay, cool. Just wait here. And it's a long corridor, and the bathroom's off to like the left, like a T. So I stand outside the door, and she said to me, no, I can't leave you alone with the mail. I just can't do that. So it's like, okay, but you have to pee. What am I supposed to do? She said, I can't leave you alone with the mail. And it's like, I understand that. You can't leave me unsupervised with everybody's mail. But what am I supposed to do? She said, well, you got to step in here with me. I was like, okay. So I expect when I walk through the bathroom, like the ladies' room, you'll see like a Burger King bathroom, like 5 or 6 stalls and doors and everything. So I'll just step inside, and she can pee, and I'll just turn my back. I'll be a gentleman. As much as I'd like to watch, I won't. And yeah, it's like I walk through the door, and there's one toilet in here with no stall, no nothing. And it's like, oh. And she had a pink sweater on and like black spandex. I mean, she just dropped her panties. I get like the full bush view. And it's like, this is the best job I've ever fucking had. Like, who the hell wants to go home? Right, I mean, prison is fucking awesome. Who wants to go home? I mean, god damn. This is prison? This ain't so bad after all. And, it was like my first experience. Is this easy? And then it just got out of control. And, like, when I went to court a couple weeks ago, the attorney actually testified that, all that happened, and then he had to basically sign my life away, and I had to go to Attica to avoid, new charges and every fucking thing else.
Oh.
And I was the youngest guy in Attica for 3 years because, I had to go to Attica because I was banging the broad, blah, 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 blah. And then when I was in Attica, yes, I had 2 separate relationships with guards there.
Yep.
So,
Woody, how old were you with the mail correspondence lady and the peeing? How old were
I was
you?
19.
Oh, you were young. You were very young.
Young and handsome.
And then had to go to Attica at such a young age.
Yeah.
I was
Woody,
the youngest guy there because you had to be 21 to go to Attica, and I had to sign my life away to go there. So it is what it is.
Woody,
Well worth it.
that story is in the book about the lady. And all the ladies, they're all in the book.
What makes me sad is that if she did not do that, you would have maybe been able to stay at that one in Elmira where you were it wasn't a bad deal for you,
I did good at Attica. I mean, once I got through the hardships of, the initiation, and, once I got myself situated at Attica, I stayed there for 15 years. Wow. And, I did really good there, and it was actually a female that did me in. I just got too emotionally attached to her, and I think it's in the book that I hung myself over her. I think that's in there.
Yeah, Wease told me. You told me about that.
Yes.
I just got emotionally attached. I mean, she went on vacation, and it's like, I actually really did like one of them. One not so much. That was just the thing, but I actually really did like her. And it's like, reality hits. It's like I met somebody that I really like, and, it's so close but so far away. What are you supposed to do? And then, she goes on vacation for 2 months, and it's like, my whole fucking world is gone. And one day I just said, fuck it, and I just hung myself. I was like, I'm just done dealing with this stress. I've had enough. Fuck this shit. But her friend, I met another one through her, and I got to tell you this because this technically, I was unprepared for it because she seemed like such a nice girl, and she had some problems in her personal life, and she came to work, and we just talked. She wasn't a guard, I wasn't a prisoner, just boy girl, and she was very upset, crying. So I said, you want to go upstairs and talk? So we go upstairs, and there's an abandoned area, a cargo elevator takes you upstairs from the metal shop where I worked for years, decades. And, I consoled her upstairs. And I was, I'm not going to say I wasn't trying to take advantage of the situation because I was. But she sits on a pallet, and I sat down with her. She hugs me. She's got snot all over me. She's crying. So it's like, just try to console her. And, it's like, well, how far will she let my hands go? So, maybe I play with her boobs or something. I don't know what she get out of this. Exactly. So it's like, she's not saying anything. I mean, I got my hands. It's all right, cool. And, she seemed like such a nice girl. And then she's like, stand up. So I stand up, and she pulled my pants down. And at that point, I'm like hard as a horseshoe, all right? And, this is like my dream come true. It's like, here we go. And I figured, yeah, exactly. Like, I start, this is working out better than I expected. And, she pulled my pants down, hard as a horseshoe. And it's like, all right, cool, I'm going to get sucked off. This is fucking awesome. And then the next thing she do, she starts trying to stick her finger in my ass. So it's like, how the fuck did I end up being the victim in this? Literally, like, she's going to peg me. I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for that. I didn't see that coming. And when I went back downstairs, I actually had to tell, like, my closest friends, like, what happened to me. Like, I wasn't prepared for this. It emotionally really fucked me up. But, a win is a win. If you got to take one for the team, you got to take one for the team. I went into this hoping to peg her, and I got pegged. So, literally, I got fucked on that one. But it is what it is.
Woody, hold on a second.
Yeah.
What's killing me is these stories, that story is in the book completely.
Oh, okay.
But, Woody, I think Susan was afraid the whole thing you were just telling me all those years ago was in the book, but she didn't write the part about the finger in the ass.
I never forgot it.
I bet you didn't.
My God, what happened to me?
Just so you know,
It's like
Woody,
you're thinking, what happened if I...
that,
It's
they're
like you're going through your mind, like, what happens if I actually like this? It's like scary.
no. That's the thing,
God.
Woody. Nowadays, they're telling women that some guys do enjoy it. There's an erogenous zone in your anus that if a woman touches it, it doesn't mean you're gay if you like it. It actually supposed to be turn you on. So if you are a woman and you're getting sex books, help books or whatever, they sometimes recommend a little finger in the butt.
I just wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
I was like, what happens if I actually like this? I'm kind of scared. But, no complaints here. Another life experience. That's all I could say. That's the least of my problem.
So here's a scary part of the Wood story. Is it true about your grandmom that your dad would beat her?
Yes. We all did. I have to take responsibility for that as well. That is a long story. And I think if Miss Ashline does do a documentary, that'll be verified. A lot has come out since the book has been written that actually does verify that. No, but she came down with Alzheimer's when I believe, in third grade, and she was to pick me up from school, and she got into a car crash. That was the first sign, and then, the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, things come up missing, confusion, and it's like a progressive state. And, my mother was just a low-life, cheating fucking whore, just a complete waste of a goddamn good bullet. But, my grandmother has always defended her affairs, and, my grandmother was very abusive towards my father, as was my mother. She was just the lowest form of life on this fucking planet. But Dad was not a bad person, and he did not deserve to die. He really did not. That I can never forgive myself for, or obviously that scumbag Ted Fox. But Dad, I don't want Dad to come across as like an evil man, because he really wasn't. He was a woman's man. He's a ladies' man. And, Dad was straight up with my mother, we can't take care of her. She has Alzheimer's. She belongs in a nursing home with professional care. And he was correct. And, my mother was absolutely not. She has money, we'll get power of attorney, we'll clean her bank accounts out, we'll put in an in-ground pool, and, her social security check will be rerouted to the house, and, we yield a profit and investments, and that's just who my mother was. Just an evil, filthy fucking bitch. And, Dad's position was, I have a dairy farm, I have enough work to do, you're gone all day. It's my responsibility to take care of her. I don't need this. Put her in a home. And, my mother just wouldn't have anything to do with it. So Dad said, fine. The house is new. She's a fire hazard. We have a wood stove. She leaves the water on. She'll burn the place down, flood it out. So if she's going to stay here, there has to be, rules. And my mother said, fine, do what you got to do. So Dad basically boarded the windows over, and we took her door off on her room, and they put a sheet of plywood with a padlock and turned the water off, and that was it. And it was just like, basically a tomb for her. And that way the house would not be burned down, and she couldn't escape. And, Dad was just pretty much just sought revenge. And he did try letting her out, and he was civil at first, but as soon as he'd open the door and let her out, she would attack him. And, his Alzheimer's, they become very aggressive. And at that point, Dad used to leave a wiffle ball bat right by the door.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we started calling it donk, D-O-N-K,
Yeah,
because that's the
yeah.
sound the bat made when he hit his head with it. Right, donk, donk.
It's the whole
And that
book.
became, my job. Yeah, every day I came home from school, that was my job. Beat her down to bed. And, Dad used to basically feed her cat food, or, she had one of the old percolating coffee pots, so we'd sit on a deck, we'd all piss in it, and he'd feed her, shit sandwiches, cat food sandwiches, percolated piss, whatever, and then smash her out with the bat, and then everybody went back to work. That was just my life.
Hey.
And, I like my grandmother, but at the same time, this is the world that I live in. And if I defy Dad, then I'm going to get my ass beat. So, it's like a gray area. People would see Dad as an evil man for what he did, but at the same time, I understand why he did what he did, because, she was always so abusive to him. Every time he would try to, get rid of her daughter for an affair, my grandmother would step in, we're taking your farm, you're never going to see your son again, we will fucking destroy you. And, Dad just, sought revenge. And again, it's that gray area. Some people would understand, some people would say there's no excuse.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what we did was right, but I understand Dad's position. And, it is what it is. And then we ended up breaking her arm, body slammed her into a potted mandarin orange tree.
It's all happened.
And I remember telling Dad, like, listen, there's blood all over the place. And, Dad said, fine. She'll just bleed to death by the time we get done on the farm. We're done milking. She'll be dead. And we'll call an ambulance, and, they'll cart the corpse away, and we're good. And when we got home, she's walking around with a bone sticking out of her arm, still alive. And that's how she ended up in a nursing home. And then years later, when she went to the nursing home, we put the pool in, a 20 by 40 in ground. I remember Dad taking the leaf skimmer basket, and, like, he was just splashing in the water. And I said, Dad, what are you doing? And he said, imagine this. We take a lawn chair. And how you have to have a chain link fence around a swimming pool just for your homeowner's insurance?
Yeah.
He puts a chair there, and he says, elderly lady, she got Alzheimer's, sets a chair there, crawls over the fence, she falls in, and she drowns. And basically, if we would have had this pool, we could have just threw the filthy bitch in here. I could have held her under with this leaf skimmer, and we could have just avoided years of this nonsense. And I was like, Dad, she's been gone for like 2 years, and you're still thinking of ways to kill her? Let it go. She's gone.
Oh.
Let's move on with life. Fuck it. But, that's the hatred that Dad had for her was, now we're going to drown her. She hasn't been here in 2 years. Let it go. Leave it alone.
It's a little scary.
But it was just a strange, childhood. And, she did attack some of my friends that I had over. And it was just a really strange childhood growing up.
Just a little Wood. Couple more questions. Number one, well, Jake, before I ask your question, let's ask him about how long did you work on the escape on the box?
With just the box?
The coffin. How long did you work?
I started like trying to get into the tunnel system through the manhole. That was number one, and I lost. I cut the manhole open, and I had to paint the floor to cover up all the grinding marks, and I lost access to the manhole because of they're collecting mercury. One other prisoner was collecting mercury to poison this serial rapist, Bernard Hatch. He's dead now. But when the mercury incident happened, that's when I lost access to the manhole, and we had to go through different means. And at that point, I did become the locksmith little by little. The box itself, the coffin, it was over a year, for sure.
Where would you have gone if you made it out? What was your plan if you did make it out?
Well, the kids, for me, nobody gets hurt. That's the thing of it. I don't have a feud with the public. I don't have have a feud with the public. It's not, I don't want to steal from anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to break into anything. I mean, if you bust your ass and you buy your car, I don't want to steal it. I don't want to break into your house. I have no problem with the public. I don't want to be, public enemy number one. I just want to walk away from this. So, to me, don't steal anything. Don't break into anything. I mean, if you got to borrow some vegetables from somebody's garden, or, basically take milk from somebody's cow, you got plenty of dairy farms around, you got plenty of feed. It is what it is. Milk from a cow, vegetables from a garden, who are you hurting? But I will not steal anything from anybody. I won't hurt anybody. Those are the rules. Stay on my feet and basically, just walk. That's it. Or run in my case. But I would have headed up north and just basically disappeared.
So
because you're going to get caught. It's going to be by stealing a vehicle, breaking into something. Anything happens, you're going to be suspect one. So the objective is just never to be seen.
So
Stay to
true.
the hardwoods, stay to the swamps, and just disappear. And again, just nobody gets hurt, and there's no point of origin, and you're gone. It's just that simple.
We just recently watched the movie about, I forget the guy's name in real life, that he escaped from prison, and he, instead of running and doing like you said, stealing a car and thing, he went and hid in a Toys R Us, and he lived there for a long time, and eventually long enough that they basically forgot about him, gave up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, just even yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, after you got busted for your escape
Yeah.
plan, you got sent to the box, which in the book is the worst thing I've ever heard. He got sentenced to 700 days in a box. Can you tell what that box is?
Well, I mean, I've been in Attica's box. I've been in Auburn's box. I've been in Upstate box, Southport box.
Oh my
and,
God!
Yeah, Great Meadow. I worked in Great Meadow. I wasn't actually a resident of the box. I used to work there at night, power washing the cells, but I have been in that one. But as far as a resident of the box, Attica, Auburn, Upstate, Southport. Every box is different. There's no solitary that is identical. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Some boxes are much better than others. Attica's box is not that bad, really. Auburn's box is probably one of the worst. Upstate box, I almost escaped from again, which I believe is in the book. Southport was bad, but Auburn's box is horrible. Basically, they put you on you got a 5-minute shower. That's it. And that includes getting dressed and undressed. Basically just like a car wash, rinse off and you're gone. And, every day somebody will break the razor, either slit their wrist or there's always something going on.
Wow.
But, it's like a starvation diet. You get next to no food. I mean, literally, if there's tater tots, which is actually one of the better meals in the prison system, you literally get 6 tater tots. It's like, what am I going to, I'm 220 pounds. What the hell am I going to do with fucking 6 goddamn tater tots? So, I mean, it's rapid weight loss, and you have no headphones, you have no nothing. You're just in a cage for 24 hours a day. So, and my way of dealing with it was, you just walk. There's no fans, there's no nothing. It's like a sweatbox, and you just walk. And that's what I would do. I just pace back and forth. Like you see the lion in the cage, he just paces back and forth, and you just zone out and pace back and forth until your legs give out, and then you sleep, you get up, you do it all over again. And you just get in that routine, just basically black out, try to think about something positive, and zone out and just walk until your legs buckle. And that's your day.
Where was the shit fight? You know what I'm talking about? It's in the book. Throwing shit at each other.
Every box has shit throwers. Every box. That's pretty much a common thing. But the most famous for throwing shit was Southport Correctional Facility. I'd heard, so many stories about, Southport. That was like the most notorious shit throwing facility New York had to offer. And you hear these wild stories with guys going out to wreck and their mouths are packed full of shit and they spit shit at each other. And it's like, hell no. This can't be true. And then when you actually get to Southport, you realize that like every ridiculous story you've ever heard is true, and then some.
Oh my God.
And they got these cages. They look like canine cages. There's A block, B block, C block, and a D block was like the box within the box. And because I got caught in another escape from upstate correctional facility, I got sent to Southport, and they put me in the special housing of the special housing of the special housing. And there's no mirror. The light stays on 24 hours a day. You have no mirror, and you have nothing. And it's just like a white cell, and it's like you only have a sense of time in that thing. And again, it's like you just walk until your legs buckle. And I was in there for a long time, and that even took me to my limits. And I have kind of a long threshold for this, but that environment took me to my limits. Because the light never turns out. It's just this bright light. You have no mirror, and you just have nothing. You have no human contact whatsoever. And it's like, as months go by, it's like, my God. Then I moved to the regular box. I was up there for like another year. And that's where, I went to rec, and they got these canine cages. I was in A Block 12 company, the third floor. And there's 75 cages, like on this blacktop pad. You go out there. And I'm in the cage, and the guy to my left is throwing shit at the guy on my right. So the guy on my right is throwing his shit at the guy on my left. So all the shit has to go through my cage. So I can't even walk around the cage because there's shit going left and right. But the strange thing is, like, when the guy to the right runs out of his own shit, he picks the other guy's shit up and throws it back at him. And then, they run out of shit, so then they squat and they take a fresh shit and then they throw that. And it's like, I'm not coming out here no more. You can't do push-ups, you can't walk. I mean, everything, I shit on my fucking feet. And it's like, no, I got to track this in myself. This is just not the environment I really want to be in. And, if you really pay attention, you see, like, when guys go out to rec, their cheeks are all puffed up, their mouth is full of shit, and they'll go out there, spit it at somebody. And, you can't have toothpaste tubes because guys will take the toothpaste tubes, they take the toothpaste out, and then they siphon shit back into them. They squeeze the toothpaste tube, and it makes like a squirt gun of shit.
Oh my God.
And everybody's just throwing shit at everybody. And, guys would actually get visits, and you're handcuffed everywhere as you go. So you go to a visit, you got to stay in handcuffs. So you're going to a visit, I got a beef with you, I just throw shit at you when you're going down the company. And then the COs will say, you got two options. You can either take a shower and wash the shit off, or you can go to your visit covered in shit. What's it going to be? And most guys would just go to their visit covered in shit because you can't even wash up. And, it's days like, it never happened to me, thank God. But, it's days like that you really have to question yourself, like, how the fuck did I end up here? Seriously. How the fuck? I mean, what? And some of these guys in the box, I knew in population, they're normal. And then you put them in solitary for a year, and it's like they turn into these fucking, just like wild animals. Throwing shit and piss and everything. What the fuck happened to you, dude? And then you see them years later in population, they're normal again. And it's like, I just say, how the hell did I end up here? This is, you just wouldn't believe it. And that's what you tell yourself. Like, if I got out of the box today and I went home and I told people, this is what happened in Southport, nobody would believe you.
That's for sure.
It had that same effect with Sue, like the same effect. And then, she goes online, and there's, all these stories online from staff alike. This is daily life in Southport. Just throw shit at everybody. And I've never thrown shit at anybody, and I've never got shitted down. And I'm really kind of grateful for that, really, because I don't want to be shitted down.
Wow.
Never happened to me, and I'm very grateful for that aspect. I spent years in the box, and I just never fell victim to that, luckily.
Woody, let me ask you the last question. Early in the book, when your lawyer was supposed to give you the money, where did that 10 grand come from that you were due? You were supposed to get the 10 grand that you could use in the joint, at the commissary. And that guy was supposed to give you the money. That was your lawyer. And in the book, I got to read all your letters that you would write them. Where is my money that you promised?
Yeah.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, of course. That was a major factor at the court hearing a couple weeks ago. That particular attorney, Randy Sharf, he's
Yeah.
confessed to everything. He confessed on the stand, under oath. Yes, there was a payoff, and yes, I had the money, and that's not even a question of did it or did it not happen. It's all fact. The money itself came from my cousin, Ted Fox, who was the inheritor of the estate after me. That was the source of it.
Oh.
So
And that's
you wanted to beat him. Susan told me that when you saw him in court, you felt sorry for him. That's crazy.
well, I did. That's true. Like in the book, I mean, I'm sure you read. My intention was to lure him into Attica and
Yeah.
basically stab him full of holes.
Yeah.
And the other prisoners fucked that up for him. And it's like why would you do that? I mean, you fucking idiots. And like I told him, if he robbed me, other high-profile killers that were in Attica at that time, he did the same thing to them. I mean, the guy was a raging drug addict, and he robbed his clients blind.
Oh.
So, before we do this, and like I'm trying to tell him, you guys are convicted killers. Like, you killed your wife, you killed the babysitter, and, don't tell me you didn't do it. I don't give a fuck. But you're killers. Now you come to jail and you act like a pair of stone-cold fucking pussies. Don't be a bitch now. You're a stone-cold killer out there. What happened to you? So go down there, rather than cry to me. You have access to this scumbag. Go down there and cut his fucking throat. What are they going to do, give you life in prison? Fuck this son of a bitch. And, it's like, all right, fine. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. And I got balls of fucking solid brass. I will fucking scum this motherfucker. So, sweet talk him, get me down there. I'll show you how to do this. And, like, you have to agree, though. I mean, once I kill this son of a bitch, none of us are going to get paid. So we ain't getting any money anyway. So, fuck it. If I'm going to do life, at least I'm going to do life for something. I mean, you sold me out. You stole my money. You promised me I'd never do more than 25 years. And then as soon as I come to jail, everybody just forgot me. You left me here to die. So, yeah, I hate this son of a bitch. And then the one went down there and told him, listen, if you call Wood down here, he's going to kill you. Yeah, I will. And, he just never spoke again. But to see, and I maintained that feeling, for decades. I hate this son of a bitch. I want to kill this cocksucker for what he did to me. And, not only orchestrating a plea, but then stealing the money to support your fucking drug habit. And you promised me 25 years, and then you just leave me for dead? I mean, how am I supposed to feel about that? Of course there's going to be anger. But to see him come into the courtroom and just see a shell of a man, I mean, just a literally fucking crackhead. I was like, my God. And I mean, he sat there for 5 minutes, and it's like, all the anger just went away. It's like, I don't even hate this guy. I can't hate this guy. I actually feel sorry for him.
Amazing.
And when Sue had said that, she said, Sue said, probably be mad at me for saying this, but I feel sorry for the guy. And I said, I'm not mad. I actually feel the same way. It's like I went into the courtroom with hatred, and I walked out with sorrow.
Wow.
I mean, it's just a shell of a human being. I can't be mad at him. And, again, he did confess to everything. So, had I chopped his head off like a fucking chicken, he wouldn't have been around to confess to everything. So it was actually beneficial not to kill him, looking back at it. So I'm kind of glad it did work out the way it worked out. But no, Ted Fox was the source of the money, and it just trickled down. And I never even got the money to begin with. Sharf basically snorted up his nose. But that was the source of the money, yes. Ted Fox said, I'll pay you off. Basically, leave me out of this, leave me out of the homicides, leave me out of everything. I will take care of you. And, none of that ever materialized. So they scummed me every which way but loose.
That's sad.
Woody, who do you want to play you in the movie?
Everybody thinks I look like Jason Statham.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I see it.
You saw it?
No, I see him. Look, from the pictures you showed me, I could see it. I was going to say Mark Wahlberg, too. Little Mark.
Are you still ripped?
yes. I ran 15 miles yesterday afternoon. I ran 15 miles this afternoon. I don't lift weights like I used to. I really enjoy running. I run at least 13 miles a day. I usually run at least one marathon a week, full 26 and a quarter. But yeah, still very lean, very cut up. I would be taller than Mark Wahlberg. I would be taller than Jason Statham. I'm kind of hoping I'm longer than either of them, but I wouldn't know that either. But yeah, I'll see what happens.
All right, Wood. How long are you ever getting out?
I mean, at this stage, I'm still serving life without parole. But after, the court hearing a few weeks ago, I mean, the information that came out, I just feel that these are errors that can't be, overlooked. This case should be reversed. And if you look at the situation with that attorney, Randall Sharp, again, I mean, it came out at the hearing that he lied and plagiarized his resume. He was never even supposed to, he was not qualified to even be a, capital defender. He was not qualified to handle a death penalty case. His supervisor testified that he could not even write a motion. He was incapable of writing a motion. And this is the attorney that New York State gave me in a death penalty case?
Wow.
I mean, the guy cannot write a motion. And that's what his supervisor testified to. It took us, and how did it take 4 years for New York State to realize that you hired somebody with a fake resume? This guy's not a death penalty attorney. He's not the top of his class. And you employed him for 4 years. And then it occurred, this guy can't even write a motion because the interns in the office were bitching. We're doing all this guy's work. The man can't even write a motion. And this is what New York State gave me in a death penalty case.
But didn't he?
Nobody realized it.
Didn't he tell you were just going to get the 25 years, right?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take the money, and that's what he testified to. You take the money, keep your mouth shut about that box. Take the money, I'll take care of it for you. I'll put it in a safety deposit box, which we all know is illegal as hell. And, that was all orchestrated through the other attorney, Stephen Dungy. And, if you plead, the death penalty will be found unconstitutional, and you will never do more than 25 years. I guarantee you that.
Yep, I saw it.
When the supervisor testified, he said we had to fire Randy Sharp because he couldn't even write a motion. He said he instructed Mark Harris to be my attorney, and Randall Sharp was just a liaison. And then when Mark Harris takes the stand, Mark Harris says, I wasn't his attorney. I never even met the guy. I don't know him.
Oh, man.
So, how this is what New York State gave me, an 18-year-old kid, in a death penalty case.
Yeah.
And, I have no experience with the court. I've never been in court before. So if the attorney says, you say no to this, I'm going to say no. I listened to my New York State court-appointed attorneys. I did what they told me to do. And everything was a fucking lie.
I mean, that
it's
seems to be grounds for a retrial at the very least.
Yeah, how can New York State give me an attorney that had a false resume?
And you were a kid.
Come on.
And you were a kid. You were not very
exactly.
Were you?
And then the attorney general, you're going over my prison record. What does it have to do anything? My prison record is horrible. I've been in jail 30 years. Of course, I'm going to have a prison record. And then did you say this to the court? Did you say that to the court? Yes, I said that to the court because that's what my New York State court-appointed counsel told me to say. I'm 18. I trusted my attorneys. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
And I just got screwed every which way you could get screwed. I would have rather had the finger in the ass again. Shit. But it's ridiculous.
Woody, we got to get out of here. The book, you can read about the Woods, see his picture, The Shocking Journey of a Killer and Escape Artist, Ungrateful Bastard, what his mother called him. Woody, is your life in prison at least better than it was in the book now?
Say that again?
Is your life right now in prison at least better than what I read in the book from previously?
I'm doing better now. I am doing better now. My attitude has changed, and a lot of that comes from the girlfriend. She did change my outlook on a lot of things, everything. I have matured probably more because of her than anything else. And I have stayed out of trouble basically because of her. I had one incident in Great Meadow, which is kind of a funny story, but I don't know if we have time for that one, but I actually felt bad when I had to call her and explain to her, the trouble that I got into, and that never really been an issue with me before. But now I have to, explain to her, listen, this is what I did today. I smashed this fucking kid's head in, and it is what it is. But it's kind of like it gives me some oversight, and I really do like her. And again, without her, she's my everything. So it gives me a reason to stay out of trouble. And yeah, I've been doing much better because of her.
How did you?
And again, none of the book.
How did you meet?
Yeah.
How did you meet the woman? Your girlfriend.
Long story.
All right.
Long story. Something that
All right.
I can't get into.
All right. We're late.
But,
Woody, thank you for your time. And Susan wrote a hell of a book. And we'll see you in the movies.
Thank you for your time, and y'all take care. All right.
Go
Thanks,
ahead,
Woody.
bro.